Good morning, guys. Welcome to Real Talk. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us. Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate across Charlottesville and Central Virginia, airs on Friday mornings at 10:15 on the I Love CVille Network. Real Talk powered by Keith and Yonna Smith and the Yes Team Realtors. If you need a go-to choice option for buying or selling your home, Keith and Yonna Smith and the Yes Team. Judah Wickhauer, you are our director, my friend. Why don't we start with the two-shot with Keith Smith and I. Keith, que pasa? How are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. I can't tell you how excited I am about this show. I was thinking on the way over here, one of the things that Yonna, my wife, always says, do you own stock?
Right, I was going to bring that up. You stole some thunder from me.
And I'm here to say that I do not. I just happen to love the place and spend a ton of money there, which I'm sure Jason loves.
We're going to welcome Jason Becton shortly to the program, one of the co-owners. I saw a photo on your Facebook page the other day of you and the fabulous Yonna Smith. At was it MarieBette or was it the one on the water? Petite. Playing canasta and drinking coffee and eating pastries.
I've been cheating on Jason, so I've been going to the. But we play canasta, a couple times a week when we just decompose, and I just want to let you know I won that hand. Okay,
Yonna, you lost that one. Keith won it.
Yeah, but one of the reasons why I'm so super excited about having Georgia here and Meals on Wheels, I'd like to share a personal story.
Nice.
For those who don't know, my wife is Austrian. The little village that she lives in what they call Lower Austria, only because it's 1,000 feet, not 3 or 4 or 5 or 15,000 feet up. But to tell you how old school that is, the brewery in the village that she grew up is celebrating a 750-year of continuing operation.
Nice.
But in 2004 and 2005, my 80-something-year-old mother-in-law was living by herself in this remote area, and we were struggling to make sure she had meals. She was eating. And I reached out to the local Meals on Wheels, and I think it was 2004. Now, Austria doesn't have a Meals on Wheels, but they have a version thereof of it, and they put us together, and after that, I've just been in love with Meals on Wheels. They were able to, she got 3 meals a day. I mean, it was 10 kilometers to the closest place to buy anything, to bring it back that way. So I'm excited about the opportunity for these folks to talk about Meals on Wheels and what awesome things they're doing in the community, and I think I'll shut up.
I'm excited as well. I'm excited. You assembled another Rockstar panel. We'll introduce Georgia and Jason to the program here. Georgia, ladies first. Give us the flip book or the snapshot of your life, please.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I am from Charlottesville. This is my 13th year as a realtor.
Nice.
I am married to an awesome guy who is full-time active duty military, National Guard. So we have kind of been able to make our home here in Charlottesville, Albemarle, which is crazy important to me, a dream to me.
Yeah.
This is where my family is, my friends, and we're able to raise our kids here, and he just graciously commutes around the state. So I am also living the dream we were talking about earlier. And yeah, getting to do real estate and share this awesome community with as many people as possible.
I love it. I love it. Where'd you grow up in Charlottesville? What schools did you go to?
So I went to Albemarle High School,
Okay.
and then Monticello High School when we
Go
were
Mustangs.
we had 2 and 2, yes, and then went really far away to college at the University of Virginia.
Me too.
So I did get out of Charlottesville for a couple of years to see what that was like, and I couldn't get back here fast enough. I went to Georgia because where else was I going to go?
Right, Georgia.
But it was a great experience and a wonderful time. But it really made me realize we've got the mountains and the beaches and beautiful. Even driving down 64 is beautiful. So I came back. And
we got a comment for you already.
Oh.
Mary Catherine King says, "Hey Georgia, hey Keith. You can interact with the panel and the show by leaving your comments in the comment section of any of the Facebook pages you're watching. This dude right here is a rock star. I am so stoked to talk with you. This is the first time I've ever had the chance to communicate with you. And I've just been following your restaurant and love your food, both your restaurants and your brand, and it's growing so fast. Just everything about MarieBette, we're huge fans of here on the program. Who is Jason?
So I am from New Jersey, not far from where Keith is from. and when he came into MarieBette for the first time, it was nice to hear a familiar accent, although I think his accent is a little thicker than mine.
His is.
So I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey. Lived there pretty much my whole life. I went to school in Connecticut, moved back to Jersey City, lived in Manhattan for a while, but I worked my whole adult life in Manhattan. Out of college, I worked for advertising agencies, 2 big corporate advertising agencies.
Which ones?
Ogilvy.
Yeah, so did my brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How old's your brother?
He is, how old am I? I should know this. He's 35.
Okay.
He was an AE on Ogilvy in 2005 to 8.
Oh, we just missed each other. I was at Ogilvy for almost 6 years, so 2004.
That's big time.
Yeah, and then I was in McCann for 3.
Nice.
Yeah, and I really hated advertising.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
You walked into an advertising agency here. All right, but I know the feeling. It's
No,
tough
I mean,
sometimes.
I mean, you have your own business.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of story. Working for a big corporate agency can be challenging. There is, as a black man in corporate America, sometimes it could be a little bit harder to kind of move up. And it was a little frustrating. I met lots of great people, but I wasn't really passionate about the work. So during a period of when the economy wasn't doing really great, I thought that I was going to get laid off, and I was like, what am I going to do if I get laid off? Well,
Was that 2008, 2009?
no, that was probably 2004.
Okay.
2004. The advertising industry wasn't doing really that great, and I felt like agencies were routinely having waves of layoffs. I always enjoyed cooking. I always enjoyed entertaining. I spent a semester in Paris when I was in college, nice. Not studying culinary, sociology and art history and things like that. But I was like, well, if I get laid off, I'm going to go to culinary school because I want to. For me, having my own business was, in my mind, the ticket to kind of feeling like I was in control of my destiny, independent. And so I didn't end up getting laid off, but I kind of I felt like I needed to make a plan. So I left Ogilvy to go to McCann Erickson and worked on kind of like an account that was Verizon Wireless, but I worked on a piece of the business that didn't seem as challenging. And then I went part-time to culinary school, the French Culinary Institute, which I think now is called the International Culinary Center. And then I made the switch and dropped advertising and took a giant pay cut and became a cook at the Four Seasons Hotel. And around that time, I met my husband in culinary school. We met through a misconnection, a Craigslist misconnection.
Craigslist misconnection.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And
well, do tell.
Yeah.
Don't let that one just lay.
Agreed.
It's a long story. But,
how about the Cliff Notes?
So it's a very long story, but the short version is the way that a culinary school worked. It was like it was mostly focused for career changers. So my classes were Tuesdays, Thursdays, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And his were Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, or maybe it's opposite. But my graduation was on a Friday. Yeah, so his was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and mine was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. My graduation was on a Friday, and I was getting ready. I was cleaning out my locker. He was getting ready for class. We made a bunch of eye contact, smiled at each other, but we didn't actually talk. And that's kind of a longer part of the story. But then the next day, I hadn't had a chance to go on vacation for a while I was in culinary school, so I went to California, got off the plane, turned to my phone, and there was a text from a friend of mine who was in culinary school with me, and she was obsessed with finding a Craigslist misconnection for herself, and she noticed the one that was for me, and so the text was like, "There's a Craigslist misconnection about you," and that's and I knew who it was, and it was I also looked him up on Friendster, so that dates how.
There was some stalking.
Yeah.
There was some stalking.
I love it.
Yeah, there was
I love
a little early stalking, but because his name was on his chef's jacket. But we contacted each other, and yeah, eventually,
MarieBette.
voila.
It's that simple.
Yes, exactly. So Patrick used to work in the art world, and similar situation, kind of got tired of it and a little disappointed in his experience. So when he finished culinary school, he worked at Blue Hill briefly, and then at this restaurant called 81 that the chef de cuisine from Blue Hill had moved over to help open. So he had the small restaurant, fine dining experience, and I had moved from corporate advertising to like a big corporate hotel. But in the hotel, I was able to learn. I started out in banquets, worked in the lounge, worked in the bar, worked in the main restaurant. I worked at the Michelin-starred Joel Robuchon restaurant briefly. I had all these different experiences while I was at the hotel. And also management experiences, because I went from being a prep cook to being one of the restaurant chefs. And there's a lot of management experience going on there. And Patrick met. He kind of got the whole being on the line was not his thing, and he really enjoyed doing prep work, which kind of translated into doing like bread and pastries.
Right.
And he left 81 to go to work at Amy's Breads in New York, which is like this big, pretty famous bakery. And then all he did was baguettes, just baguettes. And then we had 2 kids. Actually, it was our first daughter, and he kind of wanted to take a little bit to work somewhere closer to home, because we were living in New Jersey and we were both working in New York. So he took a job at this new bakery that this businesswoman, who was a brilliant businesswoman, was opening. She didn't have like a whole ton of experience baking, so she needed a head baker. Patrick applied, didn't think he was going to get it. He got the job, didn't know how to make a croissant, didn't know how to make a pain au chocolat, and kind of learned on the way, on the job, and
Do what you got to do.
yeah. And he helped her open the first place. She opened the second place with his help, and now she has like 4 locations. And but we moved down here to open up our own business, and we come at things a little bit differently. He's like the baker. He has a small business experience before me, and I've always enjoyed working on the line and cooking, and I'm more the extrovert, obviously.
Jason.
And I mean, if you've met, I feel like not very many people have even seen Patrick in the.
Well, I sought him out.
Yeah,
Totally. Just I needed to see who your better half was, because it couldn't be just like you. It had to be somebody else. So one of the great things about what I love about what we do here every Friday is we get to bring rock stars in. We use that terminology quite a bit. We also get to bring in what I call visionaries. So when did you open up the Rose Hill property?
It'll be 5 years, December 4th.
Yeah. So I remember when you were doing that. We didn't connect at that time, and the vision to see what that Preston Avenue and Rose Hill would turn into,
Amen.
and what it's going to turn into,
Yeah.
was amazing. So my hat's off to you. You guys are doing wonderful things for the community. Not so much for my waistline.
You look great.
Well, thank you for saying that, but my blood sugar level's a little high, so I need to start adjusting it. But before we get into Meals on Wheels, tell us how you met your husband.
Yeah, good question.
So we're not going to talk about
No.
this. We're just going to have fun stuff.
I did not expect that. We met in college. So he was at VMI and I was
Sure.
at UVA, and he was a couple years ahead of me, and so he commissioned right after graduation, and I liked him enough to just go visit him at these Fort Knox or Fort Benning or Washington, wherever he was stationed.
Long distance.
Yeah, we did long distance, and
Nice.
we've done a lot of long distance. We've had a baby long distance. We Skyped a birth from Iraq.
Did you hear that?
Yeah,
did.
we've had some made it work. So so like being an hour away for work doesn't seem that bad.
Was that long distance when it was texting and FaceTiming, or was that phone call long
It was
distance?
I think we were one of the first people to like. It was that was still at the old Martha Jefferson.
Okay.
Where I was born, so to me it's like not that old, but it doesn't exist anymore. And it was like we were, I think, the first people to ask the doctor, the medical team, like, is this okay? Can we Skype? And there wasn't really it didn't feel like there was a policy in place yet, which I think we benefited from.
Yeah.
And because I heard like later it got harder, this liability and things.
Sure.
They don't want things filmed. But yeah, my husband maintains that was his favorite birth of our 3 children because it was really cool though, because he was in Iraq, right, watching it in some little, the technology was there, but it's come so far since. And my family and his family were in the waiting room at the hospital, and through the power, the magic of Facebook, they are getting, seeing him share, like, my son is here, and they're like on the other side of the wall, but they're hearing it from Iraq. So that was kind of
amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I would prefer he had been there, but it worked out. Yes.
Do what you got to do,
Yeah,
right, Keith?
yeah.
Halfway through that, I was going to say I can beat that, and then I lost.
Right.
Because the only thing that I can beat was the technology end of it. So I tell the story all the time. I asked Yonna to marry me when I was in Ottawa, Canada. I'm a Marine. Your husband's in the Army. So she was in Ottawa, Canada. I was in Ottawa, Canada. Yonna was in Sofia, Bulgaria. This is 1985. And our youngest daughter asked me recently, how did you ask mommy to marry? I said, I called her on the phone. And of course, they all live, 25-year-olds live off of this. Well, it took me over 6 weeks to arrange a phone call. I had to get 2 ambassadors involved in it, navigate the Soviet phone system. And when I was asking her to marry on the phone, you can hear the guy smoking a cigarette, literally. And then at the end when it's over, he goes, congratulations. True story. God's witness. So, hey, let's get into what we're here to talk about, which is Meals on Wheels. So, tell us about what you guys are doing. Tell us about the event. Tell us about how we won't make you nervous, 253,000 people
a month.
that are watching can send money to you,
Yes.
Georgia.
Yes.
Not to you, to Meals on Wheels.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take it too, but that's fine. So Meals on Wheels is much like what you were describing that helped your family. Each Meals on Wheels is independently, they're all different. So our local Charlottesville Albemarle Meals on Wheels is not government funded. So all of the money that the organization runs off of comes from private donations. That's something, not every Meals on Wheels is like that across our nation. So some receive federal money, ours does not. So that makes the event that we are gearing up for on Tuesday really significant, because that's the primary source of income for the whole year, to feed people. So there's so much we can tell you. A lot of times people are like, well, how much does it cost to feed someone? Do you have your stats ready?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so. It's $27.50 for a week.
That is for, yes, a week, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's for a year. No, and this is for, they're served one hot meal every day, every day.
$27.50 gets someone 7 hot meals a week.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And $1,500 a year feeds somebody for a year. Well,
What?
$1,500 feeds somebody for a year.
And $125 for the month.
For the month,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if
That's
you're
good.
sitting there thinking like, if I just wanted to make a donation to our local Meals on Wheels, those are some like
tangible
concrete,
numbers.
yeah, 125. You're feeding. So, and the people we're feeding are there's some misconception about that too. It's anyone in our community that the qualification is basically they are unable to prepare a hot meal for themselves. So it's often seniors and elderly, but it could be someone that's
Disabled.
Yeah.
There's all different kinds of situations, and the other really important part of the mission of Meals on Wheels is it's also not just about the food. A lot of these people don't see anybody all day, on holidays, on their birthday.
Companionship.
No social contact,
Social contact, and it's so important for their mental health and emotional well-being that they have some kind of human connection. And the volunteers who deliver the food get to know these people and have relationships, build relationships with them. in really in ways that are just so
and
life-saving.
the volunteers, I mean, we have everything from UVA students that come and do it. It's a great thing to do with, like, we all want our kids to, like, learn about how to help our community. It's a great thing to do with kids. We've got retirees that come. It's such a diverse group of people. I would say there's probably over 30 drivers every day out running routes. And then we also have people that come volunteer to pack the meals. So there's a lot every day that's happening, and even including Christmas Day. So there's not a day off.
I'll add some personal context to this. So as I said early in the beginning of the show, my mother-in-law, who was in her mid-80s at the time, was exactly that. She was, physically not capable of preparing meals. So just keep in mind, this is in Austria. This is 6 hours away. This is 2004 and 5 and stuff like that. So they got 3 meals a day. And after every meal, the driver called my wife.
That's awesome.
And said, hey, she's fine. Hey, everything is doing okay. Hey, you probably need to call her doctor.
Right.
It looks like she's running low on meds. And I just try to figure emotionally how that is, how you're going to take care of your mother, right? 6 hours away, it's a 24, 48-hour turnaround time. God forbid you need to get there in an emergency. To be able to know that somebody, and this was before Skype and all this stuff, they were paying like X dollars a minute on their own time to call. So, like I said, I am.
And that allowed her to stay in her home, right?
Totally. So as you can tell, I'm really super passionate about it. So we have an event coming up, which I'm glad to report is sold out. That's amazing. First time, I think Georgia was saying first time ever. Mm-hmm. And at Petite MarieBette, I was making a pitch because I forgot to get tickets. And I was trying to finagle a couple of tickets.
Did you win?
I got totally shut down.
I didn't. It was like
when she said even the
down.
people on the committee don't have tickets, I went.
Well, they had, for their for their parents.
But I figured in front of 250,000 people, I might put a little bit more pressure.
You can work on that.
Tell us about the event. I went 2 years ago, and it was off the chain. I mean, it was so fun. The food is ridiculous. I mean, it's hard not to live in Charlottesville and not be a foodie. I mean, with so many great restaurants in town. Mm-hmm. I mean, spotlight the event.
So the event it's a tasting event. It's the biggest tasting event in Charlottesville. All of the restaurants who participate do so. They're not getting paid. They're doing it voluntarily. And basically, you go in. There is a silent auction table, and then it's surrounded by tables of restaurants just offering tastings of what they do. You have Prime 109, you have Oak Heart, you have Little Star, you have Junction, you have the Local. We're going to be there. Splendora's, Iron Made Poffles, Tavola, now and then.
We go to the PVCC Culinary.
Yeah.
So we just get the best of Charlottesville.
Yeah, the PVCC,
really
PVCC Culinary program every year sends. They have a table, and all the students have an opportunity to make stuff that they've been working on, and it's Chef Eric has kind of been building it into the curriculum, as this is an event that the students kind of prepare to do. It's a big community event. We've had it at Boar's Head, we've had it at Keswick. This is the first year doing it at Glenmore. We have a lot of volunteers who live in Glenmore, and we're really excited. I think it's going to turn out really great. And as we said, it's the first year that we've ever sold out of tickets before the event. So there's like no tickets sold.
We literally have people asking for tickets right now.
This is terrible.
No, it's terrible next year.
Catherine King, so happy you guys sold out for the Taste This event on
She
Tuesday.
has a babysitter ready. I know that.
I'm still hoping to find tickets
Yes.
for my family.
So if anyone,
wink, wink, wink.
if anyone is watching and has tickets and knows they cannot attend, please get in touch with MK or other people, because there are folks that just weren't able to get their tickets in time. And we'll be having the event. It's an annual event, so when you hear it come up, it'll be next summer. They'll start I think July 1 is when we started ticket sales this year, so people will jump on it.
Let's thank some sponsors here. Georgia, or Corey Brandon Lindsey says, "You're looking great, Georgia and Jason." And also said, "Wahoo wah," after your love story. Real Talk, powered in part by First Heritage Mortgage and your buddy, Mike Bittrick.
Mike Bittrick, yeah. If you need a mortgage, give Mike a call. He'll take care of you. I actually sat down with him on Monday. Yonna and I looking to buying some investment property, and
Nice.
tried to tweak his arm a little bit. Didn't go as far as I thought.
Or are you tweaking Mike's or Yonna's? Or both?
No, believe it or not.
She's on board?
She's on board.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's Mike. I'm trying to get that better rate.
Let's also give some love to Bill Tucker and Charlottesville Settlement Company.
Yeah, if you follow Bill Tucker's Facebook, he's in Manhattan right now, and his son's in a play. His son's on Broadway, and he comes from an awesome family, and they always take care of us on our real estate closings. So if you need somebody, give them a call.
I love it. Jump in here about the event. I know you're probably cornering or angling to get some tickets over here, aren't you?
I was just thinking, and I was almost going to say, hey, MK, why don't you and I crash it? But if I said that, she'd actually want to do
We're
it.
going to need bouncers.
So I better not say
We
it.
need security.
I'm sorry?
I'm just
Notify
thinking of
Shirley.
some event needs we need now.
Yeah. Well, look, so
But there's some other ways.
that's about to say.
Yeah.
So if you can't attend, how can, again,
I
what
made a
did we
list
say it
here.
was? $27. It doesn't take a lot.
$27.50. And actually, when you were talking about your mother-in-law and
I think
being
your
far
mom is
away,
watching right now.
God, I hope she is.
Is your mom Rhonda?
I'm not. I don't answer that. Don't
Rhonda,
answer
she
that.
says, Georgia, your mom loves this.
Oh my God. That's
Is it Rhonda
fantastic.
Scoble? Is that your mom?
So anyway.
Yes.
Hey, Mom.
How you
love
doing,
you.
Rhonda?
Oh, no, look
I
at that
love you
face.
so
It is
much.
time to
Yeah.
embarrass Georgia in front of her mother.
What was I was going to tell you that the cost to feed someone for an entire year through Meals on Wheels would be equivalent to 1 day of the cost in a nursing home or hospital. So if you just wrap your brain around that, that's amazing. That we're able to, the quality of life for our seniors, but anyone that is able to stay in the home that they love. And Keith, we work so hard to get people in
Sure.
homes and be happy. So the thought that they're able to stay in that home versus the quality of life when they are moved to a nursing home against their will because they can't provide food for themselves. I think that's, for me, that's the biggest reason for doing this.
So I'm between, let's say I'm knocking on 60 millennial. So I do everything on my iPhone. I do everything on an app. Does CVilleMeals.org have
Yes,
a
sir.
donate button
Yes.
on
Yes, it
that?
does.
So
Yes.
that's what we need to push out.
Yes.
People need to hit donate. People need to, PayPal or however you guys got it set up.
It's really easy.
Even if it's $100, $100 will take care of somebody for.
And you know what you could do
A little more-
even on top of that or before that? Have you heard of the Roundup app?
Yeah.
Already? So we have that for Meals on Wheels.
Nice. Sure.
And it's so you don't even notice. 2 cents, a quarter, it goes right to Meals on Wheels. And it's not a lot, but if everyone's doing it, it's going to add up.
So for people who are unfamiliar with the Roundup app,
Yes.
It's an app where your credit card purchases, say you spend $3.75
Croissant.
They're not that expensive,
Oh,
but
Chocolate.
Hold
yes,
it.
at MarieBette, and you use your credit card, that quarter will be rounded up. The $3.75 rounded up to $4, and that quarter.
It's like
will
keep
go
the
to-
change with Bank of America.
Yes.
Basically,
Yeah.
basically.
It's
And
But
if
you're
you don't
feeding your
want it to
neighbors.
get out of control, you can put
A cap.
on how much you spend per month for your roundup.
And because we're not federally funded, everything our Meals on Wheels gets is feeding people here in Charlottesville and Albemarle. It stays right here.
So it's a great opportunity to give back. Give back easy, right? Roundup's a great way to
another
do
one.
it.
The Smile Amazon, I'm sure a lot of people use Amazon.
Smile
We use-
Amazon's awesome.
Yeah, you pick your charity. You can't use it on your phone, unfortunately, but you have to be on a computer. But you pick your charity through smile.amazon.com, and a percentage of the meals, what is it, point?
Yeah,
0.5%.
But again, that adds up.
Oh, yeah.
Of your purchases go towards the charity of your choice. Hopefully, you choose a local charity like Meals on Wheels.
Mary Catherine King is laughing hysterically at your jokes right now.
The thing is I know she'll do it.
She's literally says she's laughing out loud on the feed right now.
MK, I'll bring cash. If we get bail money, we'll be all right.
You're gonna love this. Corey, Brandon, Lindsey. Who is Corey, Brandon, Lindsey?
That's her husband.
So
That's your husband.
another
He's
stat.
laughing on the stream at the fact that we acknowledged your mom, Rhonda, on the show right now. We have your entire family laughing
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. You know.
You are going to appreciate this. This is actually really good. So there's a business that's watching, Catherine from Iron Poffles and Coffee. She's amazing. She's watching right now. She says, love, 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 love Jason and MarieBette. I have participated in Taste This for the last 2 years and cannot wait to participate again this year. Such an amazing atmosphere and a great cause. See you guys next week. And she has this. Would love to know other ways local businesses can get involved with helping to raise money for Meals on Wheels. Good question.
Yeah, we've got a list.
We've got a
ready.
list.
I like it.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
prepared.
Yeah.
So one easy thing without spending money is to volunteer. Take a route or route, however you want to say it, or volunteer to pack. There's always spots. There's always need of substitutions. We also could use blizzard bag donations when the weather's too bad for the drivers to get out. Or when we know there's like a snowstorm or bad weather coming up, the drivers will bring blizzard bags to the clients, so they have something to eat, something really easy to hold them over while they're not able to get.
So explain
a
that.
delivery.
What exactly is a blizzard bag?
So there should be more information about it on our website, cvillemeals.org. But specifically what to put in those bags, because we want to be careful with the seniors that we're not putting things in there that they can't get open, like certain kinds of canned goods, but non-perishables. We also like to include things like puzzle books, little extras in there, large print reading material. So that would be the blizzard bags, and you can see a list on the site of items. We really start a drive for that in another month or so after Taste This, gearing up for the winter season. All year, we are also collecting for birthday card. We do birthday cards for our clients, again, touching on the fact that sometimes we're the only people coming into contact with them. So we like to make sure we're celebrating their birthday. So that's a great thing that people can even have their kids do. We love homemade cards from kids that our volunteers are able to write a little note in. Birthday cards, we would love
There's
to collect
pet
pins.
food
Oh,
is a big one. A lot of people have pets, companion animals. Meals on Wheels is one of the only places that if you have say you have a picky dog or a picky cat and you buy some food that they're just not going to want, you can donate that food, the open bag,
Open dry food.
Open dry food, not
open
food.
canned food.
You can donate.
that
You
to
can bring that
MarieBette.
over and it'll be delivered to the person who needs it.
We've heard a story. The reason that became so important in the last couple of years is we'd heard a story of we found out that a client we were taking their food to they were giving the food to the pet because they were so worried about their animal not having food, which was just heartbreaking that they're not able to eat. So we
sharing
want to
with
take care of their pets too. Yeah.
Well, that's a real thing because that's their companion.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
their
Right.
everyday
That's
companion.
why
Yeah.
they wake up in the morning a lot of
Yeah.
times.
That's exactly right. And that's why when you see some of these natural disasters that happen, they won't leave because of their pets. It's a real thing. It's again personal context. My mother-in-law had a couple of Siamese cats, and part of why she would not relocate someplace else is because they were elderly and they wouldn't get taken care of. But one of the phone calls that came back was, the pets are fed, the pets are taken care of. Oh, hey, you really need to call the vet to come in because I think one of them is sick or something like that. So that interpersonal connection and then the feedback, at least in our case, to us was just, we donate a little bit every year, and if I get tickets, I'll donate more.
Let's thank some of the folks that are watching here. Kate to George. I love Jason and MarieBette and Georgia. I'm watching from Crossroads Family Practice. Robin Francis, well done, MarieBette. Your MarieBette page is blowing up right now. Neil Williamson is watching. He's joining us on the page. John Updike, your colleague, says good morning. Arlene Yobs of Nest, former car president. Blizzard bag donations, what a great idea. Dan Pennant, Real Estate 3's got a question. How often are you short on drivers for deliveries? So we'll get to that. Sounds like he may want to get involved. John says he's so excited that this event is sold out. Your page is cracking me up right now. Rob Elder says, behave, everyone, behave.
Angelo, knows my mom and my husband. So.
Angela White, I love the Roundup app idea for this. Such an easy way to donate. I'm downloading the app now. Good. We should thank one of our new sponsors in Towe Insurance Services.
Towe, yeah. Z was on the show a little while ago, and Z handles our personal insurance. I believe he works for you guys.
Yeah.
If you're looking for somebody to solve your insurance questions, give him a call. We were with another firm, and he saved us a considerable amount of money. So give Z a phone call.
I love it. How often are you guys short on delivery drivers? Sounds like we have someone looking to do it.
Yeah. So the best thing to do would be to go to CVilleMeals.org. He'll see we have a wonderful staff. It's a small staff, but they work really hard I'm amazed at the organization it takes to. You have the different routes. You have different drivers on different days. We have clients that can only have certain meals. There are massive spreadsheets going on. So if he went to the website, reached out to the staff, they'll give him that information. Mm-hmm. You can do as little or as much as you feel like you can commit to.
Mm-hmm. What are you thinking, Jason?
Some people will do it for a day just to kind of have an experience of doing it. Maybe take their family with them to kind of impress upon them the importance of giving back. And then some people do it religiously every week, and all ways are helpful.
We have about 220 clients right now. There is a waiting list that we've been working very hard to
220,
decrease.
Wow.
220, and we were talking with the director yesterday, and she feels very strongly that we could feed more people. So once we're able to get rid of that wait list, we think that there are people that might not be jumping on, because there's a wait list. So there are more people than those numbers show. That
not to add a little bit more pressure on you, Georgia, but I'm looking at my Facebook page. I got 2 people in Paris watching this show, and 1 in St. Martin, keeping the French happy at this point. So we talked about how we can donate. We talked about what we're about. Is there any future vision? What do we?
Can we tell you 2 other quick ways you can donate?
Go ahead.
Big Lots just opened their new store in the old Toys R Us location, and they are.
Their rewards program is donating
$5 every time someone uses their reward card there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's through October 26th. But that is an easy way if you need
really?
to go. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, they are doing a different charity each month, so we're their first. So that's really special. And then Star Hill in November, we're going to be partnering with them, so you can go have a beer or something, and there'll be a way that Meals on Wheels is being
great.
helped.
I'm going to put weight on from all this great and drink some more beer. Thanks.
Yeah, sounds perfect to me.
Oh, yeah, sure. I hope my doctor's not watching.
What do we ask Jason how he stays so slim? How you staying so slender? I mean, your food is banging, dude.
A solidarity CrossFit.
Is that what it is? CrossFit?
Yes.
Every day?
Not every day, but often.
What would happen if you did not go to CrossFit? I mean, I'm sure it's a stress reliever for you. And then how about physically?
Everything's in moderation,
Yeah.
and also
You biked here.
I bike. Yeah, I did bike
nice.
here.
Nice.
And
From where?
we live like 2 blocks away from.
It's been a long bike ride.
It was, 2 blocks away from MarieBette, so in the 10th and Page neighborhood.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
That neighborhood's blowing up, dude.
It's a nice neighborhood. We really love it. It's a good neighbors, easy access to different parts of the city.
You did some awesome stuff with that house.
Thank you.
And you know that.
She was our realtor.
Really?
I will say, Jason was not all about it.
I was not.
He was not all about
Really?
it.
I was
Mm-mm. Yeah,
I was not.
Patrick had
It
the
was
vision
in a-
on that
I
one.
would love to hear
Yeah.
this story of how this played out with you representing them and the house and everything like this.
Well,
That's-
since we're a real estate show,
Yeah.
it should be a really good opportunity.
So a little background. When we moved here, my husband Patrick and Georgia went to middle school together, right? Wasn't it?
I don't know. All the schools,
Yes.
yeah.
Really?
yes.
You guys didn't say that?
Yeah. When Patrick was dating one of George's friends, Georgia was the one to break the news to Patrick that it wasn't going to work out in the lunchroom.
I don't remember these things,
Patrick
but yeah,
does.
that was like maybe middle school. Yeah.
But they were friends in school, and they somehow or another reconnected before we moved here. Georgia was probably my first friend.
That's before I really knew you, though.
Yeah, that's true. Would you change your
First
mind?
friend in Charlottesville?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
It's true.
They were looking for a bakery.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we scouted places for that, and then at some point down the road, we came across this property, and Patrick had a vision that Jason didn't share, but he went with. Which
So
is
it was a house
marriage,
that
right?
had
right.
some really interesting details, but it hadn't been lived in for years.
You're not really a rough it kind of guy, are you?
So I come from.
You have champagne taste?
No, I come from a very lower middle class background, and my mom was a single mom for when I was growing up, and we've always kind of lived in houses that always needed work, but never had enough money to actually put into it. So, I saw this house that needed a tremendous amount of work, and Patrick
it didn't
was like,
show
"This is-"
well either. It was not a easy. Yeah.
So he really loved it. It was, I kind of was like, I'm not living in this house. If this can be your project, we can maybe rent it, but I'm absolutely not. I don't want anything to do with this. So a friend of ours did the renovations, and little by little, once a lot of the original detail was brought back out and the carpets were removed, and like it just was kind of a skeleton of like a
Shell, yeah.
Yeah,
Then you
so
started to like it.
like a blank canvas. then I started to kind of let the idea pop into my head, like maybe I can live here. And then I started having opinions, and Patrick was like, I thought you said you didn't really want anything to do with this house. So, but eventually I changed my mind, and I love it. It's a really great location. As I said, it's a really great neighborhood. Our kids really love. Our kids go to Venable,
Nice.
and yeah, it's nice.
So you and I are not that much apart. We're actually probably brothers, because we're both New Yorkers, right? Even though
Well, I'm from New Jersey.
I know.
I have to
I've
be
been
honest.
really trying to keep my under the lid.
Well, you know.
So.
Jersey Shore people are actually from Staten Island.
Oh, no, I am not from Staten Island. I'm from Bay Ridge. Very different world. Back in the 60s and the 70s. Very different world. But we grew up the same way, right? I'm the son of a New York City fireman. I'm oldest of five. Lived in I don't think it was 900 square feet. 5 plus 2 parents and one bathroom and a bunch of sisters, and I don't think I was able to actually take a full shower until I went in the Marine Corps. So we come from the same place, so I totally get it, because I'm the same way. I'm a recovering developer and builder. Yonna is saying, hey, let's go buy
She's watching right now.
some investment property, and I'm going, look, if we got to renovate it, I'm out.
Corey is saying this is great right now, what's happening. He's loving the show.
He's even
How
new
come
fan.
she's turning red?
What do you guys think of Dairy Market and Dairy Central? The
I'm
new
excited.
project at the Dairy Monticello, the dairy building.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Yeah?
Yeah. I walk by the construction every day on the way, take
That'll
my
be
kids to school.
convenient for you, yes, to bike that way.
What do you think of the impact on the neighborhood?
I don't know. Honestly, I think it remains to be seen. Like how
Have you thought about it?
a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit. I didn't get a chance to go to a lot of meetings, so I'm just. I don't know. I don't have as much of a formed opinion on it as I probably should, to be completely honest.
What do you think?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm positive, staying positive. Yeah.
The affordable housing aspect of it needs to be something that's really.
Well, they have some in that. This is the world that I live in, right? We do general real estate, but I also consult out. And I'll tell you, we had the team on here, And I know Chris Henry personally, and he'll do the right thing, and he does the right thing, and he, he went the path that most developers may not have gone, and super engaged the community. So I think it's going to be nice. It's a change, right? Any change is always scary, but he's checking all the right boxes, and my hat's off to him on it. And I think he'll continue to do that. He's that kind of a person. So we're still talking about Meals on Wheels. I'm trying to see if anybody's throwing in dollars in the live stream, but we've talked about, is there on your cheat sheet list, is there anything else that you want to cover that we haven't?
Oh my gosh, we have a second cheat sheet.
Uh-oh.
So our mission for Meals on Wheels is to serve as many people as we can, and take care of the community. And getting rid of the wait list is the goal. But we know that there are people out there that don't know about the services, or
that think it's that Meals on Wheels.
I'm seeing that on the feed here. There's a lot of people that are like saying, "Oh, I'm just hearing about this."
Yeah.
Like your event and the organization.
Yeah.
Because I think people, there's Blue Ridge Area Food Bank. There's Meals on Wheels.
Right.
There's a few in the space.
So, Charlottesville, I believe, per capita, has the largest amount of nonprofits for really. I mean, it's the top.
I can look you in the face and tell you that is a true statistic. Because I sit on a bunch of them, and it is unbelievable how many nonprofits, which is awesome.
But there's only so many donation dollars that go around.
The struggle is here, right?
Yeah.
So,
and there's so many different organizations, local organizations that are doing a lot for food scarcity, and it's kind of an invisible thing. You may not realize how many people, your neighbors, aren't eating as well as they could, or have an empty refrigerator and or empty pantry.
And they could be right next door to you. Like you don't know who's in that house next door that isn't getting food.
So where I see the difference of what you guys are doing on Meals on Wheels is different than the nonprofits I sit on or the boards I sit on. I need like hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to generate affordable housing for folks. $27.50,
Feed somebody for a week.
Or for
$125 a month.
$125 a month.
And not just feeds them, but gives them somebody's checking in on them.
So the impact for that you guys bring to the table for a reasonable price, frankly, is also. I'm a little jealous because we can't do that. We can't do the roundup. It's going to take a long time to raise hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that was one of the reasons I was excited about this, because the buy-in is pretty cost effective.
It's like you can see it. You can see that
That's
this amount of
exactly
money
right.
is going to go to help this person for this amount of time. And like Georgia said, $1,500 is like a hospital stay.
Sure.
For one day.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And so that money that service that Meals on Wheels is providing is also helps public health and keeps people out of the hospital.
It's $1,500 for a week. I misspoke.
Oh, okay.
I promised her I would get that right.
Well, and I think the companionship aspect of this is almost being undervalued a little bit. The moniker, the brand is Meals on Wheels, but there's so much more value proposition than just one meal. Mm-hmm. I mean, like having someone come in and check on you is a reason for you to continue waking up every day and going on with your life, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
It made a difference.
I've seen it too.
I cannot tell you how much of a difference the Austrian version made in our lives. I cannot overstate it.
Just to give you an idea, 90% of our clients are free or subsidized. So we do have a sliding scale. If people are able to pay for those services, they do. But 68% of our clients do not pay because they're at or below poverty level. We have a client that lives not very far from here that is living off of $700 a month. And she has worked here in Charlottesville her whole life. So this isn't, she's worked, she's given to the community, and she's currently able to stay in her home, even though she's receiving only $700 to live off for the month because of Meals on Wheels.
I love it.
So one of the reasons why we do this show, for multiple reasons, is to showcase real estate agents and local business folks and local professionals and local folks of influence to try to help raise that. We had a great conversation over a cup of coffee. I'll let you, Georgia, you say it. All tides rise.
Oh, a rising tide
good
raises
for
all
all
ships.
ships.
There you
Yes,
go.
yes,
So a
yeah.
rising tide raises
Yeah.
all boats, or raises all ships. So, we're all talking about the same thing. I'm talking about helping affordable housing, but our dollar needs a little higher than yours, but it's interconnected, right? And it's interconnected what we do as a living for real estate agents to help folks get into their homes and stay in their homes and stuff like that. And of course, Jason just adds to my waistline.
It's all about quality of life.
But I was going about working out. I'm a hugger, as you know.
Yes, he is a hugger.
I hug Jason, and I'm like, oh, man, I tell
Are
you.
you a hugger?
I am a hugger.
Okay.
Oh, and it's a hug that,
I
like,
tag him.
I probably never told you this, and this is a great time to do this in front of 250,000 people. So I have 8 fractured vertebrae in my back. My neck, I split.
good to
C6 and C7, I split in half. It took me a year and a half of walking. And so when he hugs me, he hits me on the back. And I've never had the guts to tell him not to his face. But I'm going to do it now in front of him.
I'm sorry.
Nice trying, Jerry.
So I love you.
oh.
I love your hug, but just don't slap me on the back, brother.
Thank you.
I'm not a backslapper.
Oh, every once in a while you do it. Okay. We'll fight this one out off air.
Ben Rosenstock, Jason, so awesome to see all of your success. Haven't seen you since our Four Seasons days. Loving the show.
I've missed Ben. He's great.
Give it a like, give it a share. Good stuff. This is from Michael Guthrie, and let's thank Roy Wheeler for being one of the sponsors of the
Absolutely.
program.
We could not be doing this without Michael Guthrie, and we think the world of him, and we thank him for his support.
Roy Wheeler is a fantastic real estate choice here in Central Virginia. Michael says, good stuff, Keith Smith. Thanks for giving nonprofits like Meals on Wheels and AHIP such great PR on Real Talk. We're going to run the gauntlet with them.
So while we're on the subject of Michael Guthrie, he does a weekly Saturday show.
Yeah.
And
I'm on it tomorrow.
and that was I was just going to plug
Yeah.
you and Michael for that.
I'm going to be on Real Estate Matters on 1070 WINA with Michael Guthrie. I'm looking forward to that. We do this thing where we run the gauntlet and we
sounds
fire
scary.
questions
Oh my
at you
God.
guys. You guys are obviously going to do really well with this. We'll thank Pearl Certification for sponsoring the gauntlet here on Real Talk. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I don't think they are. But.
Okay. You want to go with the first
No,
one?
you go to first. You
Okay.
do the first one.
So I always ask this question, and this is going to be particularly hard for you. Okay. Favorite restaurant in Charlottesville and why? And maybe favorite dish as well.
I'll go first, MarieBette.
Okay. No. Okay. Let's say you cannot say MarieBette. For the sake of the show, you can't say MarieBette. MarieBette is amazing.
For me, Lampo. And
Lampo's
yeah.
amazing.
Oh yeah, good call.
Patrick, and I mean, there's lots of other places I love as well.
That's
but,
probably my favorite too.
Every Tuesday, Patrick and I go and have a lunch date.
Okay.
And it's great because generally it's not as crowded as it is for dinner, and now I'm kind of maybe going to change that. But and Salima, who's the manager there, is just really amazing. The owners are amazing. They're great people. They give back to the community as well, and their food is just outstanding. And I'm a creature of habit, so I always get usually the same
What do you got?
same thing. The Hellboy pizza when they have it.
That's a good one.
A glass of wine with lunch because I'm from Jersey, and the escarole and the ensalada verde. And Patrick usually gets a prosciutto pizza, and Georgie
Nice.
joins us sometimes.
Yep. And the orange wine.
Yeah, the gossip.
What is yours, Georgia? Favorite restaurant and meal?
Oh gosh. That's a really hard thing to say, but one that's coming to mind because this time of year, this time last year, Tasteless had ended, and we cleaned up and we worked hard and we were still hungry. I don't know how because we'd eaten. Do you remember where we went? Yeah.
Yes,
So I would say late night C&O.
Late night C&O,
and
nice.
So
Downstairs bar?
Yep.
yeah. So I love everything there, but just their classics. So I grew up. My mom, Rhonda Scoville, shout out. She worked there for 14 years when I was a kid, and so we would grow up after school. I just remember like taking my nap upstairs in a little bookkeeping office, eating C&O bread and vegetable soup, and so that's like home to me.
This town is just a struggle, right, to decide where to go eat. And
We're so lucky.
Oh my God, we've got a ton of nonprofits and a ton of places to eat. The way we do it is, it's funny you mentioned. I'm going to pivot for a second. You mentioned the date, so that's what we do at your Petite MarieBette, Yonna and I, and we play cards. and we shut down because, as George will know, and all of us own our own businesses, we tend to work 7 days a week, right, 12 hours a day. I send him texts at 5:30 in the morning, and he yells at me.
We had a no text rule. Can't text me before 8:30 a.m. because I was getting 5:45 a.m. texts. And I didn't really care, but I got an 18-month-old son. And sometimes those texts are waking him up. And then when you wake up your 18-month-old son, you know what happens? The better half ain't happening. I'm like,
so I stare at my phone and wait for that time to click, and then I hit send. So we go out by what we want to enjoy that evening,
Right.
and then there's so many to pick from. So do that. So my question, and I'm going to start with Jason first.
Okay.
So what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given, and why? I know.
Shouldn't you give us these questions before we
I
come
know,
on?
could've-
No, that's the
yeah.
fun of it.
Okay, great.
That's the fun of it. Off the top
Awkward. Then
of
do
your
we
head.
get to ask you guys some?
oh, yeah.
You can do whatever you want,
Great.
yeah.
I'll be
No
thinking
rules
about
here.
that. Okay, I'll think of questions to ask them.
Rhonda says, I'm so proud to be Georgia's mom and Jason's friend.
Aw.
What an impact these two are having in Charlottesville. I said that to give you, because it's a great message, and to give you a couple minutes to think right there.
I don't know. My mom was all about being kind to people, just be kind. And I always, and treat other people the way you want to be treated. I know that's kind of like really, maybe a little...
That's good.
Best
Right?
advice in the
But,
world.
It's a
but I
gold-
say
it's a
the
golden rule for a reason.
I tell my employees all the time to base every decision they make on the golden rule. I tell my daughters to, it's the thing. I feel like my daughter Marion, her eyes are rolled in the back of her head whenever I say it, because I say it so often. I'm just like, how would you want to be treated? Would you want somebody to treat you the way that you're acting right now, or that they said to you, or just drill it down? And I think that it makes the world a much better place when you choose to be kind.
So do you want to know why my wife and I enjoy both your places, and you and your husband Patrick? Do you know why?
Why?
Because of what you just said.
Thank you.
Every time I walk in there, everybody's kind, everybody's happy, everybody cares about you. This is not get your croissant and get the heck out the door. They engage with you, and as you know, we're personable people. We love that kind of stuff. But you make awesome stuff, hands down. But it's because of you and Patrick and your employees and the culture that you've created in that will over here every time you walk in. Hello, Keith. When we walk out, I feel like it's a cheers, right? Bye, Keith. And you walk in, hi, Keith, and then I get handed my cup of coffee.
I got to be honest. It's really, for me, the stuffed French toast. Okay? I got to be honest. That's what gets me coming
Jerry,
back.
I was trying to take this to a higher level.
I know you are. I'm sorry. It's a drug addiction.
So your best piece of advice you've ever been given, Georgia, other than come on this show?
Oh, yes. Thank you for having us. This feels
pleasure.
like a good time to say that.
pleasure.
And you still want me to answer the question. So I would say it's to leave things a little better than you found it.
Nice.
I mean, hopefully much better, but at the very least, and that could be even to my kids walking in a room and picking up something and putting it away, or your community. How can you help, and how can you make it just a little better?
Normally we ask probably one more question, but since you came back, you were the first guest to actually say, hey, let's ask us a question. So ask us a question.
That might be harder than answering the
What's
questions.
your favorite candy?
Favorite candy? Oh.
Candy, wow.
Mine's Snickers. I love Snickers.
So anything.
No, nope.
Favorite candy. Wow.
You don't eat much candy, do you?
I actually do.
Oh, you do?
So, believe it or not, it's a Austrian chocolate called Milka, and it's made in Vienna. And when we go back home, we bring suitcases of it back. You can buy it here. I think in Foods of All Nations you can buy it, but we'd rather spend $10,000 for 2 weeks in Europe and bring back that than spend too much money for it over there. Great question.
Yeah.
Now you got to ask him one.
What piece of advice would you give for somebody to avoid doing?
Avoid doing.
Listening to my advice.
Do whatever Yonna says.
There you go.
That's
my wife.
Yeah, that
No,
could be.
It's funny you should ask that question. I was on the phone with a very dear friend of mine on the way in. I spent some time with the Corps, and he's going through some tough times. And I said, brother, just overlook the fear. Don't be afraid. You did not see the fear in making this move here. You did not see the fear in opening up MarieBette, 2 locations, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I know, because we talked about it, the Water Street location was weighing heavy on your mind. Would it be successful? Would it not be successful? I think I'm helping it be successful.
Yeah, I know. Whenever I need to find you, I know where to look.
There you go. But I believe it is successful. So don't let fear get in the way. That doesn't mean you don't make good, informed decisions and research it, but don't let fear get in the way. And once you make a decision, do it and live with it, right? If it fails, it fails. As everybody knows at this table, we lost $17 million. We failed big time. But I'm sitting here talking to you, and we're doing better than we have ever done because we never allowed that to fear of that affect anything we do in the future. So that would be my advice.
Perfect finishing point right there, right? That was on point. Keith Smith, Jason, and Georgia, you guys crushed it today. Seriously. One more time on the website, is it CVilleMeals.org?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
CVilleMeals.org to find out more about Meals on Wheels. Donate, get involved, spread the word, brand awareness, engage with the brand, Meals on Wheels. We will take this show, we will archive it on ilovecville.com. We will syndicate it for 30 days across the I Love CVille Network, which is 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, 3rd largest Instagram community in Central Virginia, and a daily e-newsletter that goes out to 108,000 plus inboxes every morning. We will also turn it into a podcast on iTunes. Real Talk is powered by the Yes Team Realtors. If you need a solution, the Yes Team Realtors, and next week we have...
So we have Bellamy Brown coming in.
Nice.
And we are going to pick up or continue the conversation we had with the 3 Democratic candidates about housing, and let's hear his vision on how he, if he's elected, how he can help us move that needle forward. So I'm super excited about that. Probably a little bit more higher level stuff than this fun stuff that we had today. So thank you guys. This has been exciting, and my address you can send the tickets to.
Yes, we're working on that. We'll work on
105 East Water Street.
that. UNF.
Yeah, right, Jersey. Got to get the last word.
406 East Market Street. This is a great show. You guys have a good weekend. Support local. Have fun. Go Who's. Make Charlottesville better, guys. Take care. Good stuff.
Thanks, brother.
Great show. Hey, you crushed it.
Thank you.
Great show.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah.
seriously, good job.
Thanks.
It's fun. One more thing we have to do. We have to take the hero picture for the package. We will do it over here under this light. Guys, it was fun.
It was fun. That was not